Hello, this is Ray at Drop of Golden Tarot, and I'm here today to talk about my top 5 tarot decks of 2020. These may not all have been published this year, but they are all decks that came into my collection this year. And I'm going to do this in no particular order. So let me put this first one out and let's see if I can maybe zoom in just a little bit more. And hopefully I'll stay in frame here. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is The Children of Litha by Zia Hunt. And as you can see, it comes in this sturdy magnetic tuck box. Has the little booklet with it. That is actually pretty good for a little booklet. It gives at least a page on each card. Each card has like a little verse or poem, and then the meaning, upright and reversed, keywords. So kind of chunky. And this has got that rose petal finish that I love so much. And the cards themselves are vibrant, and the colors. So this was my first deck that was more pippish. I really have had a lot of feels about this deck off and on. Could not decide for quite some time if I was going to buy this. But then I took the plunge, and I have been thrilled that I did. It's a very good reader. I do find this rose petal finish gets easier to shuffle with time. I love the black edges on it. Just one of my most favorite decks, one of my more used decks of the year. So that's The Children of Litha by Zia Hunt. Next one I'm going to talk about also has that rose petal finish, and that is The Dark Mansion Tarot by Troca Studios. You know what I mean, right? Nice clamshell box. It's got a soft finish on the box too. The cards have that rose petal finish. I did get standard size version, black or the brown backs, matte gold finish. And so when I first got this deck, I was like, oh, no little white book. But you really do not need a little white book with this deck. As long as you know the RWS system, you are going to be able to read just fine these cards. I looked at getting some fanning powder for them to help with the shuffling of them. I tried it on the art cards that get put in here. I put the fanning powder on them, and I don't know that you can tell very well. I can tell a lot in person. I don't know if the camera picks it up very well, but this is a card that had fanning powder on it, and it really kind of dulls the look of the card. So it was really dull, and then I wiped it off as much as I could with the fanning powder because I didn't like how it was looking. I need to bring that down more. And once I wiped off as much as I could, then they were just as sticky as they originally were, and so I did not do the rest of the deck. But just after working with it and shuffling it for so long, it has held up and become easier, not held up, but it has become easier to shuffle. So this is just the detail and the artwork. And this has got one of my favorite 3 of Swords. And I don't know, I won't be able to find it now. Oh, I do love that 8 of Swords. Look at that. just dramatic and beautiful. But this has got one of my favorite Three of Swords. It has the locket with the swords behind it. It was a very helpful card to me. Very healing, and I'm not going to be able to find it. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to continue to look for it, but you know I am. And I probably already passed it in another clump when I wasn't paying attention. And I was talking instead of paying attention to what I was doing. Lovers, Knight. And look at that tower. And that Two of Swords. Yeah, I don't know where it is. It's in there. It's beautiful. One of my favorite decks. Oh, look how I've stacked them. But I am a riffle shuffler. When I first got this deck, I couldn't barely slide it. Now I'm not a pretty riffle shuffler, but I can do that, and I can bridge it. And Children of Litha is getting easier too to do that with, and I'm sure as I continue to use it and break it in, the shuffling is just going to get easier and easier to do. So, Dark Mansion Tarot. The next one on my list. So I say that Children of Litha was one of my first pip decks, but maybe not. So this is, this is the Weaver Tarot, Threads of Fate, the Journeyer edition. It comes in this nice 2-piece box. And as you can see, I just keep the box like this. I keep my deck in the box with the guidebook, which is a nice chunky guidebook. And I keep these in a drawer, which is where I keep most of my tarots. So this is actually, I don't even know if I consider this, I mean, the whole deck is pippish, not just the minors. It is kind of very sigil-y. And let's see if I can get that holographic to show up. But it's a beautiful deck. It's a good reader. There's a lot in the backgrounds of these cards, and I don't know how well they show up on camera. You can see mountains back here, and a moon and mountains. It's a beautiful deck. I really love these cards. This is, oh, and the sound. Listen to the sound of the shuffle. I just will sometimes just sit and overhand shuffle these cards. Ooh, bumping the camera, just so I can hear that swishy swish noise that they make. So the Weaver Tarot, and who do I want to, oh, created by Britt June and Blair Porter, and then there's a third person who worked on it. I can't remember if these two are the ones who wrote the book or did the illustrations, and the third one did the other. But on their website, you'll find 3 people credited for the deck. But I just absolutely love this deck. And I got the Oracle first, and then I got their Tarot. And this was another one that I kind of resisted when I did the Dating the Tarot 2020 VR. I could have put this under like the deck that I didn't think I was going to fall in love with, and I did, but I was trying not to do my top 5s there. So yeah, the Weaver Tarot Journeyer edition. So the fourth one is This Might Hurt by Isabella Rodman. And again, we've got that magnetic, and every time I open this one, I always try to open it from there. But it's got a gorgeous magnetic tuck box, sturdy. It has that good feel. In fact, even the business card that came with this deck has that rose petal finish, and so does the book. And it's a nice chunky book too, pretty straightforward. The language used is very much like conversational, how we talk to each other today. I really like that about this deck. Let me put this over here. The cards themselves are gorgeous, gorgeous back, fully reversible. I got the pearlescent holographic edging. I don't know if you can see the holographic on there. And the finish it's not a rose petal finish, but it is matte and it's smooth and it shuffles like a dream and sturdy but not super thick. And the images in this deck are just gorgeous. I love the diversity. I love the fact that we have people of all colors. I love the fact that it's not just like a masculine, feminine, that we have different gender types. I love the fact that we have old people in it, people who are more my age, people who are diverse in their body types. It's not just a body beautiful. We have people who look like, well, okay, people who look like normal people, and then we have a picture of a god. So, but, like, she's beautiful. She's not model-esque, but she's beautiful. The Page of Pentacles. We have a little bit of fantasy in there. You know, some of our court cards have this fantastical look to them still, but we still have this realness, and being able to find the beauty in the realness of people and their diversity, and showing groupings of people and how we would see people today. Like, I could walk anywhere and see some of these people. Look at that King of Pentacles, like King of Swords. Like, you can be disabled and still be a king and a master. And I love that. Like, you can embody those traits. Queen of Cups, Nine of Pentacles. Just beautiful. Oh, Seven of Swords. Look at her. She is ready. Like, she is not taking any more of anybody's crap. I just love it. So that I'm working so hard to get where I want, that creative process. Yeah. Again, in another duck. If it quacks like a duck, no, another deck that the sound of the shuffling. In fact, the cardstock, although this is not holographic on the front, the cardstock feels very similar to the Weaver Tarot. And they are all different sizes. Maybe I'll end the video by putting them all out there and showing you their sizes. And so, okay, the fifth one is not going to be a surprise for anybody, but that is the Goliath. I did not bring out the box. The box is huge. I don't keep it in the box because the box is so big. Box is like this size, and the guidebook, the deck was split into two in the box, and the guidebook went on top of it. So I only keep my decks in the box if the box is like the size of the deck. But, and right here, that's one of their, one of his Oracle or extra tarot cards, whichever way you want to work with them. But this is a pure black and white. They were pencil drawings. A lot of nature, a lot of animals. my first animal deck. I felt connected with it instantly over looking at it on the computer, watching a walkthrough from Lisa at Supportive Tarot. And I bought the deck before I finished the walkthrough, and I paid for it, and it was at the time the most expensive deck I had bought. And I thought, oh my gosh, what did I just do? And then I went back and finished the walkthrough, and I was like, oh yeah, that was the right thing to do. So, and it has been. In fact, it was such the right thing to do that I bought a backup copy when it went on sale, because I want to never be without this deck. It just gives me all the right feels, makes me look at myself in a new way. It asks me to not to be a victim, to make active choices, to choose my own fate, to be real with myself and my mistakes, to accept myself, to recognize my limitations for what they are, because that's the only way I can improve upon them. It is just a fabulous deck. Thick cardstock, very thick cardstock. This deck is a chunky deck. It's big cards, big for my hands, and I have kind of big hands. It can be a little difficult. I'll probably try to shuffle this and it'll probably fail miserably. I am a corner shuffler. Oh, it didn't fail miserably. I do have to be careful when I overhand this deck, because it's so big. I do tend to like drop it. Lots of dropsies with this deck. But the edging has held up for all of that really well. And it seems to have forgiven me for all of its dropsies. So those are my top 5 decks. Let me kind of pull back out. Let me see if I can do this with the camera. Pull back out and put at least one card from each deck out here. Kind of, ooh, I'm not doing very good there. Move my tea. So you can kind of get an idea of the size that they are in relation to each other, so that if you have any one of these decks, you'll be able to kind of see. I really do think that, yeah, these 3 are all pretty similar. Children Litha, this might hurt, look exactly the same. Dark Mansion, just a slightly bigger. And then, of course, Weaver is slightly bigger. And then even the Goliath is bigger than the Weaver. So these have been my top 5 decks of 2020. There's so many decks coming from Kickstarter and in the mail. And I'm really excited to see what 2021 brings. I don't think I'm going to buy as many decks this year. But I'm not committing to a depth year, because I'm not going to commit to not buying decks. So, but this was an extraordinary year. I was working when a lot of people were not. I felt really pulled to buy independent decks in a way that I had not in the past, and to support artists. So, and if you're in a position to do that, I encourage you to do so. It's a rough economy in a lot of places in the world right now, and people are struggling. And if you're in a position to help out, then that's great. If you're in a position to be helped and somebody reaches out, I hope that you can take the help that people are able to give you. I hope that you stay safe and that you have a wonderful day. And thank you. This has been Ray at Drop of Golden Tarot. If you like this video, you can like and subscribe. I am not a super regular poster. I post when something resonates with me and I want to talk about it. Sometimes I want to talk about something and I still don't post because it's not my full-time job. It is just my wanting to connect with the community. So have a lovely day. Bye-bye.